My mother is my favorite ESP. She's the head cook at the Head Start Center as a proud ESP of the Philadelphia school system. And for my mom, feeding her babies was not a job. It was indeed a career. And I thank her for all she's taught me. I saw that Barbara Gray came back in the room. Wow, Barbara, I know you had something to do with those kids from Shelby County, did you not? Give her a hand, the Vice President of TEA. Wow, wow. Play on, never let the current take you down. You gonna let the current take you down? I didn't think so. You gonna light it up? Oh, that's right, my fellow NEA members. Leadership guru David Goldman believes that leaders must possess an ability to honor the past, manage their current reality, and then transcend both to position an organization or a movement for the possibilities that await in the future. I could not agree more. So let's honor our past. My dad was also an educator. He was a history teacher. He passed away last year, and at his funeral, 2 of his former students came up to me and talked about the impact that my father's understanding of the importance of history had had on their view of the world. I too learned that from my dad. So throughout this very challenging year, I read, and I read again, the history of the NEA. When in the late 60s, teachers from Maine to Wisconsin to California reached a tipping point of frustration and a critical mass of determination, they organized to take control of their professional lives and change the course of this union. The NEA changed in the blink of an eye from a tea and crumpets association to a union that embraced collective bargaining and more adversarial forms of collective action to improve the stature of all education employees. They became a force of activists who in 1980 expanded to include education support professionals, all fighting for their right to participate in the political process. As the drumbeat for collective action increased, the NEA found itself sorely lacking in both programs and expertise to assist its affiliates in this new line of work, something that would drastically change as the priorities of the NEA transitioned to meet the needs of its members. So here we are. As Joyce said, we're still the largest union in this country, at a tipping point again, struggling to soar and gain control of our professional lives or fall into a canyon against the backdrop of an economic crisis that has impacted our organization like no other time in our history. So, the limitations of our current reality, just how do we manage that? Here's the stark truth. Since the 2008-2009 fiscal year, our record high for NEA membership, 3,234,639, we've lost over 160 members, and we're poised to potentially lose over 100,000 more next year. By year's end, we will have lost 16,000 ESP members. This rapid decline in our membership forced us to rebalance a budget passed by the last two representative assemblies to the tune of $27 million. At a time when our very existence is threatened, and those threats are spreading across this nation like brush fires, we have to find a way forward. As we anticipate state and local funding for education dropping to new lows, it's possible to see more examples of what has happened in the Chester Upland School District, a community with one of the largest and highest student poverty rates in the state of Pennsylvania. Our governor, who, like so many of the wealth warriors Lily will talk to you and expose tomorrow, he is more concerned with protecting the special interests and his billionaire buddies than protecting our students in our schools. So after he slashed education funding, the district reached out to them and asked for help in meeting their payroll. But he said no. Our remarkable members in both our teacher and ESP locals adopted resolutions pledging to work without pay as long as they could. Because, you see, they believed the students didn't have an option. They showed the country what all of us already know, that every day we step inside our schools, our priority is our students. Though the spotlight of shame that PSEA and NEA have helped to shine on this tragedy has forced our governor to blink, he has only approved enough funding for a stay, and our members are facing not being paid again. This selfless devotion that our members in Chester Upland are showing is truly heroic. But heroism for someone else's children shouldn't be at the expense of our own. Surely we've had some wins, the greatest in OH. Yeah, I knew you were here. Where we regained our collective bargaining rights when voters stood up and said, hell no. But the losses, they have been devastating. You have but to ask Alabama or Michigan, Arizona or North Carolina, or ask Earl right here in Tennessee. This year we had 18 states collective bargaining rights threatened. Next year we are bracing for more. 16 states will face dues collection or paycheck protection challenges, and 24 have or will file legislation to make some form of vouchers law. And we fully expect that the contracting out of education services that has been surging since 2008 will increase again next year. Tomorrow, Lily will scare the crap out of you as she describes the well-orchestrated and financed plan to expand the attacks to the federal level, which makes our need to ensure we have a goalie in President Obama an imperative. So, our need for a strong defense is clear, and it has the potential to overwhelm our resources, our time, our money, ourselves. But we can't allow our detractors or even our friends to force us into a defensive place where we lose sight of who we are and why we exist. So to manage this very challenging current reality, we have two strategic goals. Number one, building strong affiliates at both the local and the state level to ensure that we have a strong voice, very strong voice, to advance public education. And number two, uniting the nation to ensure all of our students, all of them, are educated in a great public school, making those at risk our highest priority. You know, the answer to this present crisis is not to let it take its course or to muddle through until times get better, or even to manage our decline. The answer lies in taking action, organizing, organizing, organizing. Everyone, anyone, our members, our communities, our families, our friends, everyone. We have to speak up, and we have to tell our stories. We have to take charge of our profession, defining what it means for every ESP category and what we will do to ensure quality in every school. And then finally, you have to make your vote your voice. So, we have a rich past and a very challenging current reality. Just how do we transcend both to position this organization for what I believe actually must be a movement? We understand that we, the Union of Education Professionals, are the ones who can and must ensure that public education meets its intended purpose. And to do that, we must lead the change that is now required. During this, the morning of the 21st century, we must restructure education to meet the needs of a new society organized around knowledge. And NEA must again take its rightful place leading the way. Last fall, Dennis articulated a vision of the NEA as the national leader in public education policy and practice, and created the NEA Joint Committee on Leading the Professions. Its charge is to give the organization direction and momentum towards realizing that vision, to define what NEA Leading the Professions actually means, and then to determine how the national, state, and local affiliates can collaborate in a way they never have before to leverage our collective resources so we can realize this bold new vision. Marie Knudsen on our NEA Board of Directors is working with us on this joint committee, and she is a bit at a disadvantage because we are just now analyzing what we've learned from the ESP Elevating the Professions project. So she's working hard to ensure that we include the work we anticipate doing around taking responsibility for the quality of ESP professions. And those of you who heard John Stock's presentation just a few hours ago know that the survey results indicate that our ESP members support creating professional standards for education support positions. They have pride in the fact that their work impacts the growth and success of their students, whether it's a para who connects with students and gives them the one-on-one attention that sometimes a teacher cannot, or the bus driver who sets that positive tone first thing in the morning with just a few words of encouragement and a knowing smile. ESP enjoy the opportunity their jobs create to make a difference with their kids. And we know if it's our ESP, if we know that if our ESPs are leaders in their profession, they will be able to position themselves to be included in the decisions that are made about their schools and be a valued member of the education family. So, these are the two questions I hope you are asking yourselves right now. Number one, what is the role of ESPs in this bold new vision? And then the second question I hope you're asking yourselves is, what can I do to help lead my profession? I'm sure you could, right off the top of your head, rattle off many examples of how you're leading in your schools. But let me tell you about a few I got a chance to see, up close and personal. Last fall, I had the opportunity to go on NEA's Back to School tour that focused on our priority schools. My second stop was in Clark County, Nevada, where ESEA President John Carr arranged for me to visit their massive food plant right there in Clark County. It was a phenomenal operation. But what impressed me most were the responses the food service workers gave me when I asked them what they loved most about their jobs. Individually and collectively, they talked in quite an animated and very proud way about preparing the best possible meals for their kids to help them stay focused on their primary job of learning. What also impressed me was that the director of the plant talked about how important it was that he worked closely with the union to empower them to come up with solutions and provide the workers with the support and the tools they needed to deliver healthy meals to the students in Clark County. And then I visited Seattle, Washington, where I participated in a roundtable of support, yay, give them a hand, where I participated in a roundtable of education support professionals talking about their role in transforming the West Seattle Elementary School. Once again, they spoke with pride about the significant role they played in making the students feel safe, helping them to get those extra services to address the very special needs that students living in poverty have, and how they work directly with the community to leverage its assets so they could surround their children with the support and love that they needed. It was an emotional day, but one story in particular left us all in tears. When one of the homeschool coordinators talked about Naeem, she described how this outgoing and determined student went through the traumatic experience of coming home to his mother being attacked and shot. She survived, but for months after, Naeem wouldn't leave her side. This was a third grader. He wanted to make sure that he was there to protect his mom. The homeschool coordinator pulled together some men in the community to convince this young child that they would protect his mother. They were finally able to get Naeem to come back to school. Don't you ever tell me that ESP don't make a difference in the lives of our children. Then just a few weeks ago, I had the honor of representing NEA at NJEA's ESP of the Year award ceremony. We started out by honoring what NJEA calls their Friend of ESP award. As she was introduced, I heard this story of Jean Olin, who actually is a teacher and local president, who decided it was not okay when the school board announced their plans to subcontract every single education support staff position. Jean insisted that the support staff should lead in the campaign to fight this effort. But she also decided that the entire association needed to come together and work together to prevent privatization because she knew it would affect the quality of the education of all of their students. Through their organizing campaign, the ESP members were highlighted as essential and respected staff, and their esteem soared. It helped them become stronger and more powerful, and the outpouring of support from their colleagues and from the community positioned them to be the kind of leader their district needed to ensure all their students were successful. And then we met Marge Value. We heard about her work as a cafeteria manager to change the cafeteria for the better, taking students at risk under her wing and building their self-esteem, leading the defeat of privatization efforts, and helping to develop training for ESP on how to deal with bullying. And then she had the job choice of educating New Jersey's legislators. No easy task. As we learned about how Marge led on issues of professional quality and professional rights, we quickly understood why she had been chosen as NJEA's ESP of the Year. We must use examples like these to find our way beyond being disregarded as professionals by those who know little, if anything, about how to educate our children to a place where we influence and where we are respected by all. You know, we are experiencing what I'll call a perfect storm, that rare combination that will aggravate a situation drastically. Aggravate. I am aggravated. How about you? Are you aggravated? I am aggravated by the societal pressures and the global comparisons. This economic downturn that has stripped our schools and our students and our members of the tools and resources they need to be successful, that has aggravated me. I am aggravated by the corporate greed in this country, by the fact that we do not get the valuable resources that we must have. That aggravates me. How about you? I am aggravated by everyone telling me how to do my job, how they're defining who I am and what my organization stands for. I'm aggravated. I don't know about you. I know you are. But that aggravation motivates me every day to work toward creating an event. Listen to me. An event of unusual magnitude. A perfect storm where the NEA is living into its mission. Yeah. Do you know the preamble of that NEA mission? We, the members of the National Education Association of the United States. We are the voice of education professionals. Our work is fundamental. Your work is fundamental to this nation. That's right. And we accept. Do you accept? We accept the profound trust that has been placed in us. A perfect storm where the NEA is transforming itself to transform this nation. Now, fellow NEA members, that is no easy feat. But I'm asking you to step up to it, and I know you will. So I need to leave you this afternoon with 3 simple words. Keep plugging away. It was a tradition of the church that the kids had to say their piece. That's right. Can I get a witness? Always with the Christmas pieces and the Easter pieces, the Mother's Day, always with the pieces. Yeah. Well, I come from a large family. My father had 8 sisters and 4 brothers. Every one of my aunts thought they were my mother. That's right. Every day they came into my house, they said, "Becky Sue, get up on the landing and say your piece." By the time the day came for me to say my piece, I was sick of it. They called me up to the front of the church, and much to the congregation's surprise and my family's horror, my knees began to buckle, and I bolted from the church. Well, my father came out after me. Now, I have to tell you, he's from the spare the rod, spoil the child generation. Do you know what I mean? Oh, yeah. So when I looked behind me and saw him there, I was more than a little bit afraid. But he put his arms around me and he said, "Rebecca." That's what he called me when he was really serious or very mad. He said, "Rebecca, look up at the sky. The sun, it is still shining, and it will rise again tomorrow." With those encouraging words, I went back into the church and I said my piece, the beginning word of which I remember to this day. When rising storms to quell, when opposing waters swell, keep it plugging away. The hills are high before, and the paths are hard to climb. Keep plugging away. So those are my words to you this afternoon. You keep plugging away. When those pundits and pontificators and idiots try to blame you for all the wrongs and the ills of America, you keep plugging away. When they devalue your worth and disrespect your profession, you keep plugging away. When all of society's ills and precious few of its resources are laid at your schoolhouse door, you keep plugging away. When you think you can't attend one more rally or sign up one more member or engage one more community person, when you think you are too tired to stand up and to speak out, you jump up and you shout, "I am the NEA, I am the NEA, and I will prevail." ESP, I know you can, and I know you will. Keep plugging away. Thank you so much for all you do, for our members, for this organization, and for this country. Begin, be bold, and venture to be wise. We are the NEA. Let me hear you. We are the NEA. We are the NEA. We are the NEA. Thank you. Thank you so much.